scenes and sources.
Scenes and sources. Okay.
Right, the scenes.
Yeah, it's about a 3 or 4 year old laptop, and over time it got slow.
Here's what started this big mess. Windows 365.
Yeah, sir, I tried, but it's not working. Same, sir. I have put your mail across stating that.
Quite annoying. And most any time that I try to use my computer, I'm plagued with pop-ups.
Is that the only way that you can run the new Office? Is web-based
No.
programs?
Is somebody starting to snore?
You're boring, Doug. Sorry.
Good morning. It's 11:01 and 10 seconds now. AM. Yeah, in the Pacific time zone. Hey, Doug, why were you late starting the show today? I was just meandering around. I thought I had time left, and I didn't. I came back to the computer and said, oh my gosh, it's after 11 o'clock. Start the show, slacker. Drop frames 0. It's Saturday. And let's do that button. And then I've got a bunch of, well, man, I got a bunch of topics. I do not have any illusions of being able to get through even half of this. Much of this stuff, all of this right here was all added this morning. And that's all coming from my busy day yesterday. As some of you know, I didn't have a show yesterday because I was busy. I canceled my weekly Zoom meeting with my brothers yesterday because I was busy and I was just worn out. I happen to know that Brian's got a couple jokes in there. That sounds like a good way to get started. So let's take a couple jokes. I saw the words Doug Stumper and I immediately looked away. Just look away. Alias Teape, good to see you. We talked about you yesterday, about the pronunciation of your name. I don't know if you saw that show. I don't think you were in chat yesterday. Hello, Bobby, Brian, Jeff, Rick, Zvi Manor. I'm kind of joining the Rick Lakes Club. More about that later, story later. Having some Texas toast for the start of this show. Yeah, let's see, where's Brian? Oh, that one's retracted. He decided that was too salty, I guess. I don't know. Ken Stout is here. That explains why I have a pain in my neck. Ken with a joke. Wooden legs can't take pictures. That must have been from Brian's retracted. Here we go. Doug Stumper. Let's see. How do I want to do this? I need to go here and here.
Aljosta Page said, how do you piss off a female archaeologist? Så kan jag för mig för Digians. Tied some cock. Darlinus can literally not for put the fist used coin no ass and I come into my utashanesha wa sadness kind I sit down with see such as what give her a used tampon and ask her what period it came from.
And all of those dots, Aliage, all of your dots,
John Williams said, hello, Doug.
It filled in some words for those, I guess. Hello, John. Okay. Doug Stumper. Let's see. How do you piss off a female archaeologist? Give her a used tampon. Ask her what period. Brandon, Doug Stumper. Imagine a picture showing there are 2 flat tires in front of a flat tire. 2 flat tires behind a flat tire. And a flat tire in the middle. What is the least number of flat tires? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A picture showing there are 2 flat tires in front of a flat tire. 2 flat tires behind a flat tire. and a flat tire in the middle. What's the least number of flat tires? I came up with 5. No. Well, okay, you could say 3. You could say 3. Let's see, 3 would be 2 flat tires in front of a tire, 2 flat tires looking from this side behind a flat tire.
Brian Lightfoot said 5 is not it.
5 is not it. And a flat tire in the middle. No, the 3 doesn't work out with that. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. How about this? 3 flat tires in a row. 2 flat tires are behind a flat tire. 2 flat tires are in front of a flat tire. 2 flat tires are behind a flat tire, and there's a tire in the middle. I think it's 3. You finally
Brian
got it.
Lightfoot said you finally got it. 3 is the answer.
Well, wow. Was that the female archaeologist talking to us? I kind of like that voice. I think too much. You finally got it. 3 is the answer. All right.
Official Tim Tech said, "Hello, Doug who?"
Well, it cut you off. Oh, it didn't understand that. No, SpeakerBot's not going to understand text shortcut acronyms. See, we did that one. We did that one. Doug just said no show yesterday, and he said again, we talked about you yesterday. Huh. Oh, you're right. We talked about Alias Teape's pronunciation on the Thursday show. You know, something else I heard, because I go back and watch my shows, I got to go fix the timestamps, right? I heard myself at the end of one, somewhere along the line. Yeah, saying go into my channel and click on tomorrow's show.
John Williams said, "What is wrong with the laptop?"
Laptop is one of my topics. We'll get to that later.
Aljaz Tepej said, "I will wait at LOL."
Okay. That it was during the comments section. As a matter of fact, I'll go show how to do that again, because I need to show these how to do videos to get to my channel, youtube.com/LWTDB. Enter and then go to the go to live, and then go to Thursday show, which is 2 days ago. And then I'm going to pause that right there. And if you come down to the description, it was during channel comments. So you click on channel comments to get you there without watching the whole show. Why, Doug, do you tell people how to watch your videos without watching the whole show? Well, because I'm stupid that way. Now, where was I going? Let's do one of those. Did I get all of Brian's stuff? I'm thinking about putting in a new SpeakerBot command that only certain people...
Yes, affirmative.
He says, yes, I got all this stuff. Okay, so that I don't have to go looking around. It'll only be for the people who have identified themselves as just joke tellers. And it'll be an exclamation mark something. And then you type your joke right after that. So that way I can get to it quicker and easier. Trying to cut down on the wasted time. It's wasted days and wasted nights. Name that tune, name the artist. The topics in the list, well, I guess you can't pick them by number, can you? The way I'm doing this new thing with the 00, you can't really call them out by number. Oh, what you can do is go to the topics list and just highlight it, Control-C, and then go paste that into chat. And actually do it with an exclamation mark C and then paste it. And that would be the best way. So we don't have to wait for SpeakerBot to read it, but you'll get my attention on it. Oh man, I think I better go turn the air conditioner on. and while you watch the Vanishing Dougs. Ken Stout, are you out on the road just listening, or are you actually at a computer interacting? Hello, Pebbles. Ken Stout says no. Are you on the road listening, or are you at a computer
way.
watching? And he says no.
Ken Stout Live said at a computer?
He's at a computer. Ugh. Zvi says we have time to listen to all of them.
Zvmana said we have time to listen to all of them.
Oh, I got to it before SpeakerBot. Neener, neener, neener. Client
Yes,
story.
affirmative.
Client story. Mount Mini on a monitor and cable management and RJ45 repair. Ali is saying no way. I'm not sure. I don't have no idea what you're saying no to. Tim said yes. I don't know. Actually, Ken's on a Zoom with the homies. Oh, that's why there's nobody in my Zoom. Aliaz says joke. We already did the jokes. Okay. Where do I have that? I didn't bring that up to have it set up. I've got pictures in a folder. Yeah. Let's make this big. Excuse me if you heard me burp 13 or 18 times. Yeah, so here, this is the first time that I've mounted one of these mini computers on the back of a monitor, and it was really sensible for this person's desk. So here I've already screwed the bracket onto the computer, and I was concerned when I went to do this whether they were giving me the right screws, because our packet of screws that came with the mini computer are really tiny, but they were right. There was 4 or more black screws that were the right size for these holes. So there I've got his wireless mouse keyboard dongle, and I wound up moving that to the bottom.
Aljaz Tepej said, I love those mini PCs.
Oh, I'm liking them more than you know at this point. You might know more about it by the end of the day. I don't think that was a scratch on the computer. I think that was, I don't know, was it something on my camera lens? And all that dandruff on there? I don't know what that was. But anyway, I put that on the bottom, figuring that it's easier for him to get to the top ports. The wireless mouse keyboard transceiver does not need USB 3. That's pointless. And being on the bottom, it's actually closer to the keyboard mouse. I've had occasions where a mouse dongle, those signals traveling through electronic components can cause poor signal reception.
Aljaz Tepej said, nah, that thing is your gray hair, LOL.
Yeah, maybe it was dandruff off of my hair, right? Yikes. Now, next picture. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be mixing these up because the RJ45 repair was happening at the same time. So this, I would replace his Ethernet cable because we needed a longer one, and you'll see why in a little bit. These few topics are going to be mixed up together. I didn't separate out these pictures or organize them well enough to keep them separate. So here in the background, this is one of those pass-through connectors. You'll see how that works in a minute. So I had that stripped and ready to go. And here I was actually taking this picture to remind me the color scheme, because it's been a while. So it's the blue pair in the middle, solid blue, striped blue, and then the next pair after that is orange. There's a striped orange and a solid orange. And then after that on the left is a solid green and a striped green, and on this side is a striped brown and a solid brown. Okay, now I am experiencing something that you don't see or hear. That is interesting. Yeah, okay. So I've got one person in Zoom right now, and I'm going to ask you to leave yourself muted for a little bit. Okay, so there's that picture. And I'll go on to the next one. I'm going to try to hammer through these. So here's where that pass-through happens. So this is a different way of doing these RJ45 jacks, and I got a bunch of these, and I'm kind of liking this method because you can really see that you've got them through there correctly, and then you cut them off where they come through after you crimp the cable. Next, here's the computer mounted onto the monitor, and all the wires are connected. One of the things that I thought, is this going to be ugly with a bunch of wires running everywhere? No, it turned out to be pretty clean. This short HDMI cable came with the computer. So when you're mounting it on the back, they give you that. That's great. Here's the power connector. We're going to get another view of that in a moment. Yeah, here it is from the back. So this monitor has a cable management cover here. This cover slides up and off, so you can route the cables through there and then down under the desk. Power for the monitor comes through a hole in the back of that stand and then down here. And then here is a USB connection, which goes down this hole and then back up here to his. This is a security, a guard monitored traveling device for doing their rounds somehow. I don't quite know how it works. And then there's the Ethernet cable. And then going on to the next one. Oh, just giving you better. So here's where I got that wireless mouse, keyboard, transceiver, dongle, whatever you want to call it. So it's pretty clean looking mount. And then here's, he has, when I first went to set up this computer, he had boxes all over this wall. I couldn't tell whether there was a wall jack, so he moved them out of the way. And then I pulled these panels off, and this is the new blue cable in there. So I mounted those into his cable guard, which was already mounted. So that is the end of the pictures for that Poisson's computer. I'll go take a look at this here. That was that one. And oh, that was all of that. The mini monitor, cable management, all RJ45. That was all on that topic. Okay, so let's go bring in Zoom participants. Ooh, not hearing you yet. I don't have your audio turned on. So I'm going to fix some things. Fix that and that. And then I've got that. Turn on that. And let's see. Drag that way. See, I need to get me automation for all of this hocus pocus that I'm doing. So now he should be able to hear me, and you can mute your Zoom audio now if that's actually Ken there. And then I need to, oh, that's all of that. Then I've got to turn on Zoom audio. Is it on? Is this thing on? That goes there. It's still not showing. Why? This head. All right, but I don't have your audio. I hear you, Ken, but I don't hear. It's not going out over YouTube. So let's get to. Did I give me a way to do this?
John Williams said, "Hello, Ken Stout."
Let's see, I got to go to nested scenes, audio sources, and then you can't see that until I open that. Zoom audio. I thought I had that set on the button.
Jim
Guess not.
KJ3N said it's the Ken Betts and Doug Stout show.
There you go. And then I've got to turn off that OBS scenes and then come into Zoom. Now they can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm right about
Put
that.
a one in chat if you can hear the Doug Stout Ken never mind. Morning, Doug.
Good morning, Ken. You look like you're at some kind of mountain resort with 3 of your friends.
That's the 3
Jim
amigos right there.
KJ3N
We
said
have the
English.
Professor,
Aljastepe
Robert,
said we can
and
hear
I don't know
you.
who that
111
motley guy is there on
111
the far
111.
left-hand or right-hand side, depending on how your screen orientation is.
All right, were you able to hear SpeakerBot?
No.
SpeakerBot just went through. Oh yes, I had.
Now I had muted my video or my audio as quickly as I could when I first joined. I don't know if it went out or not.
Yeah,
And then
I heard.
I was hearing nothing.
I heard something through your microphone at the beginning, and then I went to mute your microphone, but maybe you muted your physical microphone first. Okay, you should be able to hear SpeakerBot now. Let's see how.
Okay.
Did I? Yeah, somebody else.
I'll verify that one way or the other.
Yes, affirmative.
Yep, I can hear SpeakerBot now.
Aljastepe said test, 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 test.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were that last segment before I asked you that question, there was a SpeakerBot stepping on you. And I don't remember what you said during that time, even if I could understand it.
John Williams said, what is it?
What is what? Okay.
Brian
that's
Lightfoot said test.
enough.
This is guitar, right? And cheese, I was testing into test.
So I've got a way here that I can mute SpeakerBot when I see something that's going to take a long time. So I knew this periods are going to take a long time. So I muted SpeakerBot, and then now I've unmuted it. So I can now interrupt SpeakerBot when it's misbehaving. All right, or Mrs. Behaving, Mr. Behaving, any of them. Now, I have all those topics, but always people's questions from chat or people's questions in Zoom topics, they would take priority. Did you have anything to bring to the table in terms of topics?
No, you just asked if I was on the road or at a PC. Your first question was, am I on the road? Exclamation no. And then you didn't give me time to say at the PC, and then you're like, okay.
Aljastepe said
No,
we
I don't
learn
have
Japan
anything.
language now with
All
dots
right.
I know you and I
XD.
are going to get together and work on a little thing later on that you're going to upload, but no, I'm good today. I just thought maybe you might want to see my smiley face.
Yeah, I do want to do that thing that we talked about in a private session. Undecided whether I will upload it or not.
Jim K3N
Might be,
said, is
might
it
not.
really SpeakerBot misbehaving or the chat people?
Oh, I like that voice. The one that Jim just had. I like that.
Yeah. Well, all right. So you brought up the topic. There's one of the voices on your channel that you have pegged to a certain participant that I don't like because I can never understand it.
Hello, great
Manor said kill
Is that
it.
the one?
Yes, that's the one.
Hello,
That's the one.
hello, DougBetts.
Yeah, I don't care for that one. The accent would be fine if I could understand it reliably.
Official Tim Tech said, oh boy, sexy.
Yeah. All right. Here we got
Jason
more coming
Mirabile said,
on.
it's Mr. and Mrs. Behaving acting up.
I guess you and I have nothing else to cover.
I don't really have anything. I'm
right.
here to support you. I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do like to have people in chat, in Zoom.
Have you
for that.
seen where there's a new thing coming out for subscribers, 500 to, or 1 to 500,000 that YouTube is rolling out a new thing that's going to help promote your channel? Have you seen that yet?
That's a pretty generic description.
I'll drop
No.
a link for you in
I
chat.
don't know what you're talking. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll drop a link for you.
All right. All right. So I'm going to move on to another
Forgot I'm
topic.
doing. Go ahead.
Now, for those of you in chat, if you see somebody ask a question and they don't hit me with a speaker bot, do an !C and then their name or some kind of clue to draw my attention to that. And also, if you see new people show up in chat, you can recognize them because they'll be in gray.
Link is in Zoom chat.
Oh, Zoom. I don't do Zoom chat. I've got, in order to do that, I got to go to Zoom chat and then go deal with it. Now I'm dealing with it. All right, so I'm clicking on that. That brings that up.
Link
on
is in
another
YouTube
screen.
chat.
Use Zoom.
One
homies.
extra click of a button over to Zoom and hit
Yeah,
chat's going to kill
Zoom
you,
home.
but it's there.
Well, if I forget to do it before I end in the Zoom, I can't get back to it. But if
That's
it's
true.
in YouTube
Or if
chat,
you
I
get
can.
kicked out in the way, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, if you get kicked out in the waiting room, do I lose your chat?
Here I go. Watch. Bye.
You almost got kicked out a little while ago. Oh yeah, when you're mimicking me with my complaints. You say, move on, Doug. Move along. Get along, little kitties. So, client story. Wall-mounted equipment rack and ladder workstation. I'm going to go check. I think these pictures are all lined up together. I'm going to go preview them. How far do they go? Okay, they go to there. All right, that's okay.
Al Jazz Tepedge said, no Ken, stay please, we want you.
Yeah, we'll keep him. We'll keep him. He's a keeper. All right, here we go. With this this topic, client story, wall-mounted equipment rack, ladder workstation. So this is a client that they've got this wall-mounted cabinet. This is the ceiling up here. I'm taking this picture from a ladder. I've got the cabinet open right now. These clips right here clip it to the frame that's mounted onto the wall. And you can see under there, they've got some wood rails. It's not just screwed into the plaster. That wouldn't be nearly strong enough. This thing's really heavy. Every time I open it up, I have to push up on the bottom in order to get this one to even unlatch, and then open it carefully. This lock over here is to lock the glass front panel. This glass that you see over here, that's not a window in the wall. That is the front door of the box. And you'll see more of that in a little bit. And there's vent openings here. These are the Ethernet wires going out into the wall and running it throughout their building. This is one of the government-assisted living facilities for disabled and low-income people. And down here you can see a part of, well, I'll let chat. Anybody in chat, can you identify, can you name what that is right there, that semicircle beige colored instrument? And this part here is their alarm, part of their alarm system. Okay, Aliaj says no idea. Somebody's probably going to recognize that. Obviously, a power strip and the power cable going down to the outlet. I can't tell which it is, where it is. This electrical right here is for my monitor. I have a portable monitor. Robert says Wi-Fi, yes. Jason Mirabel says Wi-Fi access point, yes. Nobody identified it as Ubiquity Unify is the actual make of that, make and model of that basic design. They have many different model numbers, but Ubiquity is the company and Unify is the Wi-Fi device. Okay, yeah, so this cable goes for my portable monitor that you'll see in a minute. And what else? There is, that's an Ethernet cable for the Wi-Fi. Move on. We don't care about the rest of that. Closer view of the Ethernet cables little extra length there that they coiled up. I think probably when the Ethernet was put in, the decision hadn't been made yet quite where the box was going to be. And that's why they made them so long, and they put the RJ45, no, not the RJ45. These don't have RJ45 connectors on the end of them. They go into a patch panel. Here you see the hinges. There's a hinge on the top, hinge on the bottom, and I'm just so nervous about these, but they seem like they're holding quite strong. That's a second
Official Tim
photo.
Tech said Wi-Fi access point.
I think, Tim, you must be back. You must be in DVR mode because we've already answered that. If you're going to put answers in chat, you should get caught up. Use Shift period to speed up your video to get caught up. Next picture. This is, oh, he says, oh, okay, let me check. Oh, no, you're with us. Yeah, no, you're current enough. I don't know why you gave that answer after I had given the answer to everybody, unless you just joined. So here's a camera view looking in from the back. There's the door that's on the front of the cabinet. This is a computer right here, a cube-shaped computer. This is, we call it the NVR. It's their security surveillance computer. It's a Windows 10 operating system. It's just a little different shape. You see a wireless keyboard mouse dongle here. That's mine. I put it in because I'm using a wireless keyboard mouse. And I also connected right here. This cable is an HDMI. The next photo, I think, gives a better view of that. This is HDMI going to my portable monitor that you'll see in a minute. You'll see here that I label cables, particularly when they're difficult to identify. What is this one? Because every time I had to figure out what that one is, I had to follow it around. So one day I just came in and labeled a bunch of cables. Here's my ladder workstation. Here's a portable monitor. Did I bring that in here? No, it's in the kitchen, I think. Portable monitor with the HDMI cable and the power connection. Here's my wireless keyboard and mouse. Sometimes for this, when I'm using this mouse, when I'm working at this station, I use this ledge over here as a mouse pad. But yesterday I used my pants leg as the mouse pad. Just put it down on the leg of my pants and operated the mouse that way. Push down, that moves the mouse cursor up, and so on. A little bit awkward to work on that. This just shows my kit that I was using in that office that day. This box is what I used. The portable monitor is in the box right now. This is when I was packing up to leave. So the portable monitor in there, keyboard and mouse, and all the cables that I need for using that portable monitor that stays in my car. And that's always available. I'd also brought in a surge protector because I thought I might need to replace it. I didn't. These are some wire management that I used under the desk for that computer that I mounted on the back of the monitor, which was in another office that is just across the hallway. And this is the box that I use for my RJ45 repairs. This is the lid for that box. So I just took the same box that this portable monitor came in and made it usable for carrying that kit. Greg M, why do you have to remove the cabinet from the wall where were you running additional network cables? Oh, no, the reason why I didn't remove it, I just opened it. The reason why I had to open this is because I needed to connect keyboard, mouse, and monitor. There is no keyboard, mouse, and monitor for this computer. And my objective in this session was to set up unattended remote access to this computer. Because up until recently, this computer has been managed by the security company, the security surveillance equipment company. They installed this, not me. But in a recent instance, a component had gone bad in it, and they turned over management of that computer to me, and I had not yet been able to set up unattended remote access. So in order to do that, I needed to get a monitor, keyboard, and mouse connected, and there were no connections on the front of that computer to do that. So that's all I was doing. Where was the front view? Oh, this is the front view. Yeah, we hadn't got to that yet. Because did I finish everything I wanted to describe here? Yeah. And then this is the front door open. Pretty strong hinges for the front door. Up here is the patch panel. So all those Ethernet cables are hardwired into the back of this patch panel. And then this is where the word patch cables really is applicable, where you're patching from the patch panel into the switches. There's two switches, this switch right here and this switch up here. And for the most part, they segregate the cameras from the computers. I think it's the bottom one is the computers and the top one is the cameras. I'm not certain about that as I look at these. Can I see these better? Amp, fast amp, computer, EMP-PKG, employee package. I don't even recognize what I meant by that. This box down here is the surveillance camera computer. It's a Windows 10 operating system, just like any other. This over here is the Comcast router. And then over here is a UPS, battery backup. So this is all kind of stuff that myself and probably other computer techs think is just not really very interesting, but then I thought, well, maybe you would like to see what's actually happening out there at client offices, what it's actually like. So I am kind of wanting to get some feedback. Is this client stories stuff of interest? So all this was setting that up for remote access. Did I say anything else in this? Wall mounted equipment rack, ladder workstation. Yeah. Jason Maribel says, love that you shared this walkthrough. Tim says, very interesting. Jason Maribel again says, very interesting. Okay, good. Then let's take a quick look through chat. Just get an idea what's all going on. Looking for oranges. Alias Tepe, dots are letters. Really? Yeah, but SpeakerBot came up with words for all those dots. 5 is niet. 5 is niet. I don't know what he meant by 5. Oh, that's when we're talking about the joke. I really shouldn't try to read these and understand what's going on. Freddie Fender was one of my music quizzes, I guess. Actually, it's,
John Williams said, thanks for sharing this client on video.
Yeah, I'm really kind of attracted to doing more of that. Okay, we got Ken's Zoom issue resolved. There's that link. And question. We already covered that. Okay, that's all enough. That's all enough of that. Next stories. Misbehaving backup drive causes emergency service call. Well, let's go greet somebody in Zoom first, since we're on a convenient point right now. Let me get my things set up right. 2 columns, 2 rows. Hello, Alex.
Hello. Hello, Ken. Hello, Doug.
Hello. Did you have any topics, questions, comments?
No, I just jumped in because Ken sent me a message.
said join Zoom or else.
John Williams said, how many clients do you have right now?
Oh, I don't know, John. I don't define. I would define clients by the number of different addresses I send invoices to. I'm gonna guess it's got to be in the neighborhood who I'd send invoices to more than 2 a year. Clients that I send an invoice to once a year, maybe not so much. Now I only send invoices every 3 months. When I do a time slip for somebody, that starts a counter, a timer. After 3 months, then I'll do an invoice that covers everything that happened during that time. So my clients, my most active clients would only get 4 invoices in a year at the most. I'm going to say it's over 30, I think, because most of my clients are repeat offenders. So I don't need a lot of, some of my clients are weekly, I'm doing things for them. And it varies a lot. Some of the invoices, I have some invoices that go out that are over $10,000 over a 3-month period. And I have some invoices over a 3-month period. I might send out an invoice of $12.95. So that gives a little bit of an answer to that. All right. So that last new topic button was a fake. We did not do it. So here I'll hit a new subject button again. Misbehaving backup drive causes emergency service call. Put my camera back on while I go set
John
up
Williams
those
said busy enough for
pictures.
sure.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as busy on a daily basis as when I was 40 years old. I do not want to be that busy. That was craziness. I'm too old to be that busy. Okay, so this topic, misbehaving backup drive causes emergency.
So what are you saying? So what are you saying, Doug? When I get to be the age you are now, I'll be busy because I'm not busy right now.
Your experience may vary. I don't know. Mine just may vary. I don't know what your situation is going to be. All right, I'll try to start this again. Misbehaving backup drive causes emergency service call last night. I knew that I was going to need to restart 2 servers at a client's office remotely because I was not able to launch Macrium Reflect when I checked up on their backups earlier that morning. Now, yesterday being Friday, I had also another service call to them yesterday. I don't think I have any topics. Yeah, I do have a topic for that office from yesterday. But I found out that they were going to close the office at noon. They were going to be gone. And I realized, oh yeah, Fresno Fair started this week and they always take the entire office to the fair. They close at noon and take everybody to the fair. Have a good time. That's a good employer. Good employer. And so I knew I was going to need to restart it. And I knew that I could do it during the afternoon because they were going to be gone. I did not get around to that because I was just busy all the rest of the day. So now let's go look at that. When I gave the command remotely to restart the computer, my Log Me In Rescue listed it as rebooting. And it just stayed that way for over half an hour. And normally it should be 5 to 10 minutes. It should be back up and ready. I haven't timed it. I don't know how long it takes, but when it was still...
Aljaz Tepej said who was Kaye? Local FD to cool down the backup? LOL.
Okay, I don't know, Callie. Called? Who was called? I don't quite understand that. Local FD. Called. Who was called local FD to cool down the backup? FD. You lost me. I don't know what you mean by FD.
Fire department.
Fire department to cool down the backup. All right. I don't think that's quite what it was. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because Ken's so good at figuring out ambiguous things, because he types ambiguous things. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Is that server 2008?
Yes. Yes, you can see that at the bottom. And I've mentioned
No,
this
I
before.
can't read it, but I just knew based on the color of the background.
Yeah, yeah, it is. 2008 R2, way out of date. Needs to have been replaced a long time ago. Yep, still using 2008 R2. And I'm not going to go into that story now because I'm trying to tell a different story that's taken a long time to get to for some reason. So my LogMe and Rescue was showing it as restarting. And so that's the emergency service call. Because it had to get restarted because sometimes people come in on Saturdays to work. So I had to get out there and solve this. When I arrived, here's what I saw on the screen. It said shutting down, and I knew it had been on that screen for some time. So now what to do? Should I hold down the power button on the computer to force off? I'd rather do something a little more graceful first, which I did and was successful. So next picture. Here's the server, PowerEdge R710. And you see some spare drives. These are the drives that these are the boot drives that I swap out every time I swap the external backup drives. That's a way to have a fresh image of the boot drive. And then the next image here. This is a video. This is a very short video, and what I wanted to show is that blinking light. See that blinking light on the left? Whoops, I gotta get back to that right video. There it's blinking. That's connected to the computer that's failing to shut down. There's two servers in this rack. The one on the left is for the other server that restarted properly. The one on the right is the server that did not restart properly. This is not a normal symptom. So I went around to the back side and turned the power button off for that drive. And then here's a video. Let's get back. Here's a video after I had turned that off. So that shut that drive off, and then the server went on to its reboot without doing anything with the power button. The message there, anytime you have a computer that's having difficulty restarting, unplug all the USB devices as a possible source or turn them off. There may be a USB device that's preventing the computer from restarting. Now, let's see, I got to take that off and see what picture is next. Okay, yeah, this is it. With its post messages and getting started, and there it is up and running. And my remote connection survived all of that. I'm still connected remotely, although that was my computer at home, Baby Bees to be specific, that was connected remotely. I've got a couple other pictures of stuff on that screen, but they're, oh, here. Yeah, I'm skipping one that includes some identifying information that I'm not going to show, but this one is a testament to such a Doug. This is such a Doug moment here. After that computer restarted, I turned the power off for the backup drive, restarted the computer, and then I wanted to restart it again, because anytime something doesn't go quite right with a restart, I want to do another restart. I want to have a fresh, valid, normal restart before relying on the computer. Last thing I would want to do is just leave it up at that point.
LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts said Windows Server has graphical user interface. That is new for me.
Oh yeah, that's been present for a long time. Yeah, I think even Windows 3.11 server, I'm not sure if that's the right, or Windows 4.0 server, that was before Windows 95. Yeah, graphical's been around. You don't have to use the graphical interface. So you might have experienced Windows servers that did not use graphical interface. Why couldn't you just type A in the comment like a normal IT guy? Because I told you, such a Doug moment. That's what I'm pointing this out. I'm calling myself out on the carpet here. When you restart a server, you have to select one of these options. There's a drop-down list. If you select other, it requires that you type something in the comment field. And like Ren Israel saying, as most IT people would just type the letter A in there. There are some times that I'll do that, but I didn't. I chose not to this time, and this was genuinely me, because I wanted to document that there was something unusual that happened here. So I'm saying restart after. Notice I capitalized the R. Nobody's ever going to see this. I'm never going to go back and look at this, most likely. It's a Doug moment. Get over it. Capitalize. Restart after an abnormal restart. This was not automatically capitalized. Server's not that fancy. Which required manual power off of external backup drive, period. I put a period on it. Doug, Doug. That's just Doug. I can't say that I encourage you to do that. I can't say I recommend it. So then once this is restarting again after that, I want a full normal restart. And then it's back to the desktop. And I think that's the last one.
Are you actually using a hardware RAID, Doug, or is it just configured like that? You're not actually using it.
It's I'm going to go back to the picture of the server. These servers have RAID adapters, so it's a hardware RAID. Just when you buy a server of this caliber, it's just that's what you're buying. I was disappointed that I can only have 2 volumes. These 2 drives are the boot volume. These 2 drives are the data volume. Over on the right-hand side, you can see 4, 5, 6, and 7. You see 5, 6, and 7 are empty. Number 4 is occupied with a hot swap. So if one of these drives goes bad, this one, there's just the data drives. If one of them goes bad, then this one is a hot swap that can very quickly and easily be automatically engaged. I never actually came across a situation to do that. Well, these are hot swappable in the sense that I routinely eject drive 0 or drive 1 and replace that with one of these. Here I have 4 and they're labeled. There's 2 servers. The blue drives are for the file server. The yellow drives are for the server that we call the COM server, communication server. So every 2 weeks when I swap the external backup drives, I also swap one of these, and they're labeled for bay 0 or bay 1. So bay 0 or bay 1. So I'll, and I can tell by the drive that's on the top that my next rotation is going to be for bay 0. So I'll take out bay 0 and put in one of these, the one that's labeled for that, and then it will remirror, and that gives me an offsite.
Z Manor said 0 and 1 are not mirror?
Yes, they are. That's my point. I'll describe that in a moment. These 2 are mirrored to each other. They're image identical to each other. So when I take one out, I bring that back here to home. That gives me an off-site full image of the boot drive, because I don't image it anywhere else. Well, that's not entirely true. I do, but I do a Macroom Reflect image of that, but of the boot drive, but not quite so often. Of the boot volume. The boot volume is contained completely on this drive and completely on this drive. So when I eject one of those and replace it with one of these, that gives me an offsite here in my home and the image backup of the boot drive of that computer. The content of the boot drive doesn't change that often because it has all the user accounts, has all the security settings, but we
Read
don't
chat,
save that
please.
very much. All right, I'll get to that. And those are set over here on
Z-Manner
top.
said Y0 not LED on indicated.
I'll get to that in a moment. I have those on top of the external drives. They're also labeled in a rotation basis. The file server has 4 drives that rotate. The communication server has 2 drives that rotate. So if he says, why is the 0 LED not on? That's because this is a photograph, that's a photograph, not a video. The lights flicker with their activity. So I happened to catch a photo of it when that light was in the off state. Because this over here is blue, that tells us that the drives are functioning normally. Anytime one of these drives goes bad, which I have experienced a few times, then this changes to an amber color. Now, somebody asked me to read chat. Selden Ball, transporting drives can cause mechanical damage to the drives. Do you have spare drives on hand in case that happens? Yes, because I have for each of those servers for the boot drive. I only swap drives for the boot drives, for the boot volume. Each of them have 4 drives that rotate. There's 2 drives in the servers now that have the current mirroring. And then for each of those servers, I have 2 drives here. So each server has a total of 4 drives that get rotated. And so far, I haven't had any trouble with the drives. They sit on the car seat. I bring them home. I take them there. It's a pretty non-violent experience. My driving, I'm referring to. It's a non-violent experience. Okay. And drive 0 and 1 are mirrored to each other. The reason he was saying that is because the 0 is not lit. Darren Gilholm says hi to Ken. All right. Where to next? Selden Ball. No, it's not just Doug. Some people have pride in their notations. Sometimes that habit has really paid off for me. I use Microsoft OneNote to keep track of my clients' information. I've had clients come up with questions. I've gone back in my notes and I've called them back and I say, well, yeah, in March 14th of 2014, we did such and such and so and so. We replaced that or we changed that password or whatever. All right, I think it's time for another topic.
Is that server Windows Server 2022 compatible?
No, it's not. And I have been in conversations with them about replacing those servers over multiple years. Here's a topic that wasn't on the list. Let's see. We've done the misbehaving backup. Okay, so let's see. Upgrade strategy. I'll fill out that description more. Let me tell you this story. And then save that. And then that would be a new subject. I've had multiple conversations with this client about upgrading their equipment. And then they have changed ownership. They have had it's a law office. They were operating as a partnership between 5 attorneys. And then the senior attorneys have sold the company to 2 of the younger partners, because the senior attorneys are all looking to retire. So now the company is completely run by the younger attorneys, who now have to pay, most likely, I don't know the details, they most likely have to pay a monthly amount out of their earnings, out of their ongoing earnings, to the senior partners to pay them off for their business. And that'll be ongoing retirement income for the senior attorneys. So far, all of the senior attorneys are still working for the company now as employees. Now, this means that the new partners in the business are more budget conscientious, and they're more concerned about spending money. Got to get that reaction, Jim. Just got the end of it. Yeah. So they are, they really had a sticker shock at the last proposal that I gave them for, before I realized the significance of the new partners, the new ownership. I gave them a proposal, an estimate of what it was going to cost to replace all of their equipment, because pretty much all of the equipment is not Windows 11 capable, and their servers are going to be rejected by their cybersecurity insurance eventually. Currently, they still have cybersecurity insurance, but they seriously need to tighten up on security issues, because what I'm expecting cybersecurity insurance to require. So they were, top state-of-the-art servers, state-of-the-art computers, workstations. I don't remember, somewhere around $1,200 a piece. And this was before many computers became so known to me. I'm not sure if they were around at that point or not, but it was a major sticker shock. So now with these many computers come along, I've told you about that I put one of these into the senior, or the managing partner. He's one of the young guys, the managing partner's desk, and he's liking it. He says it's faster than his old computer, and he has no complaints about it. So this is around the $200 mark for these computers.
And his old computer's probably about 8 to 10 years old at this point.
Oh yeah, their old computers are more older than that, because they were mostly purchased as HP refurbs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they are old, but they serve the purpose fine. They serve them just fine. Now, what else on that? So these mini computers are a major good news to them. And I'm also contemplating about some other ways that we could go. I'm thinking about, do we really need to have full servers? Well, for the bulk of their content, which is data files, no. We could use a NAS, or we could use Microsoft ShareFile, and those files would be stored in the cloud. And the actual server needs that we have, which I don't have fully identified, do we really? I'm not sure yet. We could have a much lower capacity server for that purpose. So I've got some cost savings measures in mind for them. All right. That completes that. And I will fill out that subject line better. Oh, Jim has joined. Now I need to give Jim a chance to have any opening
Read chat,
comments
please.
or subjects. Did you have anything, Jim?
No, not yet, although I find it interesting that you might contemplate going over to an NAS. That topic seems to come up every so often.
From me?
No, just in my circle of people I know, right?
Yeah.
Jim?
Well,
correct. Right.
Now, here's a concern I have, though, that I haven't researched into this, and I don't know, Jim, if you would know this, because I'm not aware that you have any 40 station offices working off of NAS. But I'm concerned about how well they perform with lots of users accessing the same volumes, and how because a file server, just take the term file server, it's from the ground up intended to serve files to people. In my mind, I've thought of NAS as network addressable storage. Its main function from the ground up is storage.
And at a base level, they're the same thing.
Well, for a small number of people, yes. But how about 40 people hammering on it all day long? That's not a base level.
No, it's not. But you're dealing with, if you do it correctly, you're dealing with at least a 4-bay NAS, probably doing RAID 5, and it's probably going to have NAS certified drives in it. So your biggest problem would be, at least I'm guessing. I don't know for sure because I'm pulling most of this out of my butt. What else is new? The biggest issue I would think you'd have with 40 people hammering on a NAS is the network bandwidth of the NAS itself.
Okay.
So for example, 40 people banging on a NAS that's on a gigabit Ethernet, that's going to be a problem.
I don't think so, because they're opening Microsoft Word documents off of a NAS. It's not like they're doing reading and writing of video editing work or things that take a lot of file activity. And they'll open a Microsoft Word document, for instance, and in the environment of a NAS, they would be making their changes and then click save, as opposed to if we were had like OneDrive or file share connected with the NAS, then it's saving as they work, and so that would be a lot more frequency of activity. The NAS should be able to be used with file share and OneDrive, because all you're doing with file share or OneDrive is configuring what drive letter, where are you storing those files. So those services should be able to interact with the NAS, but it's totally untested with me. So I'm reluctant to take a client
Zvi
down
Manor
that
said,
path.
I have a NAS with access files and on the PC access runtime. Working very well.
Do you have 40 people working on that, Zvi? I don't think so.
That's the kicker, is you have 40 people accessing the same bandwidth, essentially, or the same drives or whatever the heck. There's going to be a bottleneck.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the files you're dealing with.
Yeah.
For a single person, or for example, in this house,
Zvi Manor
there's
said
2 people.
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
Read
40.
chat, please.
Then, I don't know. There's only 2 people in this house. There are, I want to say, 3 machines that are backing up to the NAS, but they do it at different intervals. And
well,
I'm not
I
seeing
also
anything, but then I'm very small. This is a very small thing that's going on here.
I think there's ways to deal with that. It seems to me Kerry has recently shown NASs with 2 network cards in order to double the throughput. And it's working fine right now with these servers that we're using now. However, the file server we're using has 4 network cards, and the traffic is split between them. So
yeah, it's an aggregated connection.
Yeah.
Doug, are you taking suggestions on topics real quick?
Yeah, or requests.
When you get around to it, I'm interested in, there comes a time in every man's life when you have to bring the hammer down.
Okay. All right. That was added this morning. Yeah, let's see. Have we finished that topic? Oh, I think there's some comments in chat about the NASs still. And access files. Yes, this office also has Microsoft Access files for different databases that multiple people access. access database files. And on the PC Access runtime, working very well.
Word
It has-
documents are not big bandwidth. Access files,
Right.
Excel spreadsheets, those can get pretty major.
Yeah, I can. So they are not sharing files via a network-based application. Yes, we have, well, that would be Access is one, and there's also a vertical market law office management software that everybody uses. Now, interestingly, that software doesn't have to run from a server. I can use a workstation that can function as the server for that application. And we've done it. It works just fine. We've had times when there were server issues or power issues, or we were just trying to troubleshoot something. So I moved that function to a workstation, and I can move it around just fine. Now, but neither of those require a server. We do have one application. This is comical. We have one application that actually requires a Microsoft server in order for it to be installed and for it to run. That software used to be used by many of the people in the office. Currently, it is only used by one person in the office. So do we have to get an actual Microsoft file server to accommodate that one person? Well, maybe, and maybe justified, because that person is that software. What it does is when they get a new case, and it's a particular type of case, this person enters that in, and it schedules all of the time limits that they have for all the different steps that they have to do on that case, schedules them out into the future. So she handles the scheduling for the whole office. They have two divisions. Only one division uses this for scheduling, because the other types of cases don't need this level of scheduling. But she schedules all the cases for this half of the office and the attorneys that service those. So it's an important software, and it costs them, I don't remember, it was $60, $120 a month. So there have been times when they failed to pay the subscription for this, and it had moved from there was an employee that was no longer employed, and the account had been set up with their email address, which doesn't exist anymore. So we had to work with the company to get this transitioned over to another staff person, and then they were not seeing the renewal of the license. So when I go to renew the license, I see how expensive it is, and I wasn't aware of what they were doing with this software. I thought that this one person was only using that program to look up old legacy case information from long ago. And so then when I questioned, do you guys really want to be spending this much every month on this software that's only used by one person for I don't know what purpose? How often is it needed? But it turns out it is a regular ongoing part of their work. So, but we could have a very low end Microsoft file server just for that software. And maybe the other people don't even connect to that server. And that would save them a boatload of money on that server. So that might be coming up. Are there any other questions or comments about that whole stuff? The network switches, I don't need to go into.
The one thing I would mention, Seldon Ball talks about 10 gigabit networking becoming less expensive. The comment I just replied to him is that would require likely to rewire the office, and that can get pricey.
Yeah, the actual putting in of the wires and moving the furniture around to get the wall outlets, that's the big expense there. But we don't need it. We are not having any throughput bottlenecks. An Ethernet cable goes from the patch panel to a wall outlet just for that computer. Nobody would notice a speed difference going from 1 gigabit to 10 gigabits. Not going to happen.
The professor would notice, Doug.
I will say
The
one
professor
thing.
would.
I will say one thing. When I was at college and we were doing, and I was trying to push Windows images over the network to other computers, trying to pixie boot the computers. If we was having, there was several times we had issues with network. We had issues with the actual Ethernet cables that were attached to the computers, that it would not allow the full gigabit worth of transfer. And I noticed that if it did not allow the full gigabits worth of transfer to the server, that those Windows image installations would fail. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And okay, Selden's next comment we'll get to in a moment, but that just points out you need to consider the situation, the application involved. In your environment, Alex, having the fast internet network connections was very important. In this environment, I would never install an image over
Read
the
chat,
network.
please.
It's just not fitting for that environment. So you got to look at the application. So I need to get to Rand's comment. Selden's ball while I'm here. The 10 gig would only be between the switch and the server, aggregating all the 1 gigabit links. Yeah, that would be a valid way to go about it. You could do 10 gig from the server to the switch in order to get the traffic. But even at that, with our current 1 gigabits, we have 4 network cards in that server. So the potential with a new server that had a single network card, that could be an issue. But we already have the wires running from the switches to the server for Ethernet cables running through the walls. So that would essentially give us 4
I know
gig.
that's aimed at me, Ken.
No, that's not aimed at you at all, Alex. Once again, you have a guilty conscience. Jim got it right away. You just feel guilty. That's not aimed at you at all.
Well, you guys have elected to make this audible to Zoom, to YouTube, and we have no idea what you're talking about because you weren't on screen at the time.
It was on Zoom, and I showed my hammer because about 30 minutes ago I said, hey, let's talk about putting the hammer down, and you went off on a rabbit hole. And then Jim brought his hammer in. I got my hammer. We are giving you the subliminal messages. Oh, here comes a hammer. My hammer's bigger than. There we go. When do you got to put the hammer down?
I need to finish this topic before I go on to another topic. That's gonna change. That's gonna be a change of topic. So Rand. If you install software-based NAS on these same servers, the performance level should be the same. Okay. Well, software-based NAS, that's going to take some CPU for the NAS, for the software NAS to be performing that function. How could the performance be the same? Not a lot? I haven't done anything
compared
with
to a Windows server, not a lot.
Is there any reason you would want to put a software-based NAS on these servers that have a hardware RAID? No, wait a minute, NAS. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Software-based NAS on these same, you're trying to save me more money or save my client more money.
Well, basically what you would do is you would put, which most of them are either Linux or BSD, like TrueNAS or whatever, on the existing hardware, and it would probably run a heck of a lot better than it ever did using Windows Server.
I'm very attracted to that. So that means we don't retire these servers. We just repurpose them.
You transition them over to something like either TrueNAS or Unraid or something of that nature on the existing hardware.
All right. Rand says exactly. Yeah, so we would need to set up our new methods, new methodology, new server, whatever it would be, before we could repurpose these software-based NAS. But software-based NAS on these would mean I'd be transitioning their current, let me say it, W and X drives. That's how they recognize these. Their data files are stored on W drives and X drive. So I'm going to refer to it that way.
Also mean that you would not be able to remote into it to these particular machines using log me in rescue anymore. Also,
Well, I'd have to set up some other way to remote into them, I suppose.
There's
And
ways to do that.
yeah, there's ways to accomplish that. And I don't automatically assume that log me and rescue can't do that. I'd check on that first, because there's a lot it can do. So to accomplish that, if I were to move their W and X drives to those machines as a software-based NAS, that would have to be a overnight cutoff. I'm uncomfortable switching over that without a test. I'd want. Oh, whoa!
Light bulb just went on.
Yes. that next sentence that was in my head before the following sentence came and gave me that reaction is I would want to be able to have a test environment. I'd want to be able to copy that W and X drives to another computer so that they could still function the way they are, so I could do some testing. These two servers, you saw the model name earlier, we bought them as refurbished servers or used refurbished.
Ran Israel
servers.
said, guess what can you use to test a new setup?
That's what I've got the answer for. I have the answer for that. The decision, last time we bought these, last time when we bought these servers, we need to replace the prior servers, which were also rack mount. Yeah.
You still have those? You still have those laying around?
No, but here's the thing. Here's the beauty of it. I discussed with them two different ways to go. Buy new servers that are under warranty and buy the on-site warranty service from Dell for 3-4 years, whatever, or buy 4 used servers. We'll use 2 of them and we'll have 2 spares. I still have the 2 spares. So I can fire up the 2 spares. Don't even need to do the drive mirroring. They only need 1 drive for one drive for boot, 1 drive for data, or not even that. Just put a drive in and go straight to the NAS software, to go straight to the NAS operating system, copy their W and X drives to that NAS, to that software NAS, and then do some testing with those. That sounds feasible. I backed away from saying that is feasible to that sounds feasible. I'm not going to quite say that is feasible. Am I still doing that
Looks like
wrong?
we woke somebody up.
Why am I doing this wrong? No, I need to put that there. And that way, yeah, that way works. Hello, Gary. Hello, Gary.
It's working on audio.
Gary.
There we go. Now the audio's connecting. Here we
Oh,
go.
it's connecting. All right. In the meantime, in chat, if there's something else that something else you think I should discuss in chat regarding NAS before I move on, point me to that, because I'm just not going to have the time to go read through them myself. Do I got a hello from Gary yet?
Hello.
Hello. All right. Now, before I open it to any topics from you, I'm going to start with asking if you have topics, because I like to try to reserve some time towards the end so that you don't pop up with those when I'm trying to end the show.
Well, well, I got a response. I've only heard about 10 minutes of you guys on the NAS.
If you have something about NAS, go ahead and do that now.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Most of the NASs by Synology and whatnot, they are software rated now. They are not hardware rated.
Okay. Well, no, but they were saying software NAS. They weren't saying software RAID.
They are software RAID and software NAS unless you buy a hybrid from like Synology. They are not hardware rated controllers.
Yeah, he's correct. You were talking about doing it all in software. Although, depending on the NAS software you use, some of them probably have drivers for those cards.
Yeah, but the lower, not lower end, but the 9 series, unless even the 6 to 18 bays are not hardware bays. I mean, you got to get into the multi-dollars for that.
Yeah.
You take a look.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's not a hardware rate controller like you would have in a server.
Well, no, that's interesting. I think the last time that I priced new servers for them, I was doing that on Dell, and I was selecting hardware RAID. I don't think software RAID was even on my radar at that point.
Ran Israel said I was referring to software NAS. The RAID implementation is flexible.
Yeah, I understand that, Ran, and that Raz. I understand that, Ran. He's saying that referring to software NAS. Yeah, and I said that. I said you're referring to software NAS. But now I'm hearing from Jim and Gary that it's commonplace. I guess you're saying it's commonplace to be software RAID and software NAS.
For the NASs that have 5 or 10 users, that is not a hardware RAID. No. I mean, your RAID controller is more than the price of the box.
But now, okay, yeah, but now you said 5 to 10 users. Well, this is 40 users.
Right. You want hardware RAID, and you're not going to get it in the lower end Synology NAS. You're talking multi-thousand. You're not talking.
Okay. All right. Well, we were not specifically talking about Synology NAS either. We were talking about repurposing the existing servers, the existing old Microsoft Windows 2008 R2 servers, repurposing them to use as a NAS, because the hardware is plenty functional.
I would argue, I mean, possible, but I don't even know if any of those. I mean, TrueNAS, I agree, is very good right now. I mean, multi, but I don't know if it would support darn near 20 or 18-year-old hardware. I have no clue.
That could be an issue.
Because you're talking, what, 2008 on those servers? R10s?
Yeah.
R710, excuse me.
Yeah.
I haven't used those for over 10 years myself.
It's a question. Yeah. And even continuing using them, you could make the argument that it's just, is it wise or reasonable to do that? Now we have spares too, though. So
the other thing you are concerned about is going to be throughput, because if you open Word documents on the server, not copying, but open them on the server, it stays open the whole time. So you're ticking back and forth, sending packets as you type.
Well, Gary, did you hear the part about the conversation that I was concerned about, is how well the NAS would perform with a 40 station office, where we have some database programs and documents and so forth. And keep in mind, these servers have 4 network adapters and have 4 unique cables to them. They each have their own IP address. They are not seen on the same IP.
Well, I'm familiar with the Power Edge. That's not the issue.
All right.
No, but the thing I'm saying, if you open the documents off of the server, let's ask, you're keeping the path to the document in your PC and the server open the whole time.
Yeah.
So 40 people have 40 documents open. You are having traffic continuously. Not, I will give you this very low traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the deal right now with people. I know people that have, you know, 20, not 20, but their cameras, 5 TVs with 3 kids, and some of the switches they're buying off Amazon are not handling the throughput because it's the capacity of the switch. And I mean, that's what we worry about. I mean, 1 gig's fine. No, it's not fine now because we don't have any computers that work under 2.5. But
Okay.
I mean, it's the capacity of the switch. So that's your question. And the drive, the NAS itself. So it might not be able to internally handle 40 people at one time pulling documents.
Okay. We've been on this topic for a long time now. I'd like to move along. I think we've covered everything that anybody is really eager to come up with. The law offices, yes, they have security cameras, but that is not part of the server.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, law office have security cameras. They do, but that's a completely separate system. I'm not involved with that at all. It does not even go through our Ethernet. I think they're dedicated wiring. Okay, so Ken's requested topic. Where's it at? AceMagic. So let's see. I'm gonna move this up to here because that'll help make it. That'll make it easier for me when I go back to put in the timestamps. Yeah. There. Okay. There comes a time in every man's life when you have to bring the hammer down. That was part of my day yesterday. I had to bring the hammer down. Now I had some thoughts of how to present this. I got to bring up another screen here. Where is that? In order to identify this. And in this case, that involved bringing this hammer down from that table onto the floor where my sandal encased right foot was. And there you go. And this is what I was referring to about joining the Rick's Club. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have trouble with that crack right there.
And Josh's and Ghetto's Club, Josh's club.
Oh, Josh, did he have that too?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Dad didn't even get a reaction from Ken, I don't think.
Oh, you got a reaction.
Oh. Yeah. That was bringing the hammer down. Now, you might ask, this hammer, does anybody recognize this hammer? I've shown it before on camera. I'm not sure if I showed it on my show or was it on Ken Stout's Zoom, because I have history with that hammer. I'm going to go show you something else about that hammer.
You're going to show us the left foot now?
No, I'm surprised you haven't come up with that unless I'm incorrectly remembering that I've shown this. No, I think I actually showed this during my show. All right, here we go. Here's where this hammer has made an appearance before. I never bought this hammer. This is the hammer that caused this gash.
Z-Manner said hammer time.
This is the hammer that caused this gash in my tire. Because I went back a couple days later looking around that area, and the only candidates I found was, first I found these two, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that these two pieces of wood did
Is this
that.
on your recent flat tire debacle?
Yes. Yes, this is my recent
So
flat
you
tire.
were the crazy band that I seen on national news that said, this is why I hear old bands. I hear, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but now, a wise person might ask, Doug, this hammer caused that damage to your tire and caused that damage to your toe. Why is it not in the recycle bin? Why is it still here? And that would be a judgment issue. Anti-vibe, is that somehow appropriate? That's the model of the hammer, I guess. Anti-vibrations, I guess, is what they mean. I should get rid of that hammer. Go ahead.
I was going to say I have another topic. I mainly just wanted to see if you have any information on this, Doug. Do you have any knowledge or any information at all? There's nothing I can do about it, but about like direct TV or dish network systems, satellite systems that are wired through a whole building, like for like a nursing home or assisted living facility.
What's the question in there? I don't have any experience with satellite, wiring satellite through a building. Is that what you're asking?
Because the place where my grandma moved to, the way they have their direct TV wired up is in every one of the rooms there's a coax cable outlet plug, like you would connect an old-fashioned, like you connect the cable directly to the TV and scan the channels the old-fashioned way, like you used to when you used an antenna. But it's direct TV. So they've got some kind of big direct TV set up in a main office or a networking closet somewhere, and it distributes the signal out to every room.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I know nothing. Nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I would presume there's got to be some kind of an active powered hub that distributes those signals. I have come across occasion with Comcast cable where they install such a device, some kind of a signal booster for a house that had a cable connection that was exceeding a certain distance. So really, I don't have much on that at all. Okay, we're gonna move on because I don't have anything else for you.
Hey,
Doug? Go ahead.
Just real quick, since you brought up the flat, you had it changed. My wife and I have cars that don't have spares. I mean, they don't come with spares. And
you have cars that don't come with spares.
Yeah, and you have to flatbed them or wait for them. And if you have a Tesla, they can't repair a sidewall and they don't have the tire in stock. Because they don't take off-the-shelf tires. They have baffles in the tire. I had to wait a week to get a tire.
It'll take a week to get a replacement tire? Oh.
Yep.
Could you?
And the same day, my wife hit a pothole on her car and doesn't have. So
all right.
We had two jobs in 1 week.
Oh. Could you pre-order one and keep one in your possession as a spare?
I got 4 with new wheels, yeah.
Oh, you have 4 on hand with new wheels. So you
no,
don't want to...
now I do.
Now you do. Now you do. Got it. Okay, let's get back onto computer topics. And this is not the same hammer for the camera breaking in response to Selden Ball. Then, yeah, we'll not go further down the coax conversation. Do I have a next topic requested? You know what? These iPhones are on my desk, so let's deal with this. Client tells me that called me a few days back saying they have 2 new iPhones they need me to set up email accounts and configure email accounts for. I assumed when they said that they wanted me to add email accounts to these phones for existing employees. When I went to their office yesterday to do that, we'll get to that, Greg M. They found out that wasn't quite the situation. So here's the two iPhones, and yeah, so here's the two iPhones, and here's my iPhone. This is my Mini 13, and there's something about this that I don't like. The prior iPhones, they were much better with focusing close-ups. Now, I think a little while back I discovered there's a menu option that I could change to do macro focusing, but I haven't really done much of that. So I wanted to try these new iPhones and see if they have fixed that, if they've gone back to being able to do macro focusing. So I was excited for that. Now that is part of this story. That is the, but wait, what the, now out of the box thinking, what their actual use case is for these phones. It was not for particular employees. This office has two buildings. Now it's the same office, the lawyer's office. They have two buildings. One is identified as main office and the other is identified as West Wing. It's also Annex, they've called it. And we sometimes call it East and West. So what they want to do is assign a phone to each of these buildings that their staff could use to interact with text messaging for clients. Because the problem, the pain point that they've had is with their employees using their personal cell phones to interact with clients. There's a couple problems with that. Letting clients have personal phone numbers of your employees, that's a little not really good. And then there's also the issue that if they want to keep track of how much text interactions they've had with a particular employee, they don't have any way to really manage that unless there is a company identified phone. So that takes care of that. Now, another potential purpose, now I don't know if this is going on, is that if employees are abusing use of their own personal phones in the office, when a management person asks what they're doing, they can say that they're texting a client when they're actually goofing off. Now, I don't know if that's going on, but it also gives them that capability. So that is the out-of-the-box thinking. And let me get the whole story out first, and then we'll take your comments. Okay. The thing that struck me when they explained that to me is this is the same office that is got the new managing partners, the new owners that are cost conscientious. So I thought, wow, they bought two new iPhones for this purpose. That seems like a high price tag. So this is all these pieces are going to kind of fit together in a moment. That's why I want to get the whole story out first. This morning, I went to look at these, and I'm going to bring one of these up on screen for you. No, that's the wrong app to bring up. Where is it? Where is it? I thought I had this up already. Bring it up. There it is. I'm going to bring one of these phones up on screen. Let's see. So I do a swipe down from the top and come up here to the screen sharing and screen mirroring. And oops, no, I got to use the other one because I didn't connect that one to my Wi-Fi yet. So swipe down, go screen mirroring, and here it is. I get Doug BBB or Doug BBB Baby. I'm going to BBB so I can do screen sharing to it. And then bring that up on screen for you here. We'll maximize that and then go to the home screen. So here's the what the part. As I go into settings, come down to general. You can't see me. You can't see my finger on this. Do you see? Yeah, I can move the mouse. And then go to about. And I find, oh, it's iPhone 12. So did they go to a cellular store and buy iPhone 12s? I think not. I think that what they did here maybe is use this as an excuse to buy new phones for themselves and use their old phones for this purpose. So maybe it was a win-win deal. I don't know. But if that is, I would say, hey, kudos to you. I think that makes a whole world of sense. And the iPhone 12 is kind of obsolete anyway. And as a matter of fact, I don't think they went and bought new phones. I think these are their old phones that they've been holding on to, because neither of them have needed me to reconfigure their email accounts on their new phones. So I just think they took their old phones and repurposed them to get more life out of them. That makes a whole lot of budget sense, I think. Okay, so go ahead with your comments.
I was going to say, if all they're doing is texting, what is the actual purpose of the actual phones? Because when doesn't each phone have wouldn't they have new numbers on each phone anyway that people would have to learn? Because why not, if they're going to go through all that trouble, why not just transition them to something like, say, Google Voice or some other paid for type of service that they can do the texting on the computer?
That was my first response. That was my first response to them. I thought the same thing. And then they elaborated a little bit further that I'm not comfortable with discussing on air, but they had another reason why they wanted physical phones for the staff to use. Oh, and then there was also, if we took them to that, those, when they tell a client number, that phone number, then somebody has to interact with that on screen, and the different staff members throughout the office, who's going to be the person responsible to do that? Are they going to do that regularly? So there was a comfort level with using an actual physical phone for it. And yes, they do have their own phone numbers. Yes, they do actually have data service on the phones, even though they could have accomplished it through Wi-Fi connections.
I was just curious, because in my particular case, and I know I'm not a business, but I've been using a Google Voice number as my primary phone for the past probably going on 6 or 7 years now, without an issue.
Yeah, but now you're a single person doing that. You're not a 40-person office with who's going to be accessing that information. How do they, that sounds like it's going to be extra staff time if one person is assigned to take it and then they have to redirect it to someone else. I can see where this is just a more comfort level. You don't have to train anybody about interacting with faxes online.
And plus, there's probably more people out there that know about iPhone and Android or some other. And so
that was another specific thing, as they were interested in AirDrop or whatever. There's some iPhone features that are specific. In fact, they had considered getting Android, and they chose to go with the iPhone because of the Apple specific features that actually some of their clients have requested. So there's a few things. Seldom Ball asking about security insurance, have problems with the phones go out of support. So far, the cybersecurity insurance questionnaires have not gone into that level. So that could eventually become an issue, but we're not there yet. Fair point.
I love how you mentioned an iPhone 12 was obsolete.
Is it? I don't know. Oh, well, no, I have a 13 mini, so 12 isn't that far out, is it?
I just replaced my 8 with a refurbished 12.
Oh, okay. Refurbished 12. Oh, all right. Well, maybe I'm wrong about these being their old phones. I don't know. But aren't they up to aren't iPhones up to like 16 now?
They are.
All right.
They are, but there's no way in hell I'm going to pay anybody that kind of money.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say my iPad mini, I have an iPad mini 4. It's still, as of right now, it's still functional. There's only a like 2 or 3 apps on it that I have that I can't update anymore, but most of my apps are still updatable, and it's running software version 15, and the latest one is 18. So I'm just holding out until Apple tells me it can't be upgraded anymore, because I know it can't go. I know it can't go beyond 15.
And it's
I'm
already
wondering.
updated.
I'm wondering how much
already up.
longer. I'm wondering how much longer it'll be before I can't access the App Store to update any of the apps at all.
Yeah, I have come up against that with my iPad. It's no longer updatable for anything anywhere.
My standard rule is once your Apple device, whatever it is, iPad, whatever it might be, once it can't do a major revision update of the operating system, then it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is the only reason why I replaced my 8 with a 12. The 8 wasn't going beyond 16.
Well, I did not replace my iPad when it got to that state because I no longer had the use case for it. It used to be, I used to use it in my airplane for flight planning and actual flight tracking and recording. And once I
Doug,
stopped
real
doing
quick
that,
question.
I wasn't interested. Go ahead.
Since we're on the iPhone, I've got the 13 Pro Max. My ringtones somehow are screwed up. I have a ringtone that I want to use for for Lorna's text calls, or text, and her phone calls. It's not available. It's either going to be in the phone call, or right now it's not available in the text. I don't know how it happened. They used to be available for both. What are your thoughts on that? And can you fix it?
You have iOS 18?
13, Gary. 13 Pro
iOS
Max.
18. iOS 18 or 17.6?
17.7.
So, okay. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have any insight into that. I have done a few things with ringtones and poked around. I would have to poke around a little bit to investigate that. I heard you talking about the wah 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 ringtone.
Yeah, from
what you're
Charlie Brown,
specifically
the
wanting.
teacher in the background.
Yeah. Do you know what that ringtone is called? I'm not going to go any robot.
Yeah, ROBOT.
Okay, I'm just going to look around on my phone for that, but not now. I'm going to do that after the show because I'm mildly curious. And also curious about the aspect that you didn't have the same ringtones available for text messages as you did for phone.
I used to have them on both, but now it's only if she calls me, the robot is the text, is the sound for the call. But when she texts me, it's just not there.
Yeah.
Me and Ken went back and forth about the ringtone bit for
stop. I don't want to go any further with the ringtone.
Oh,
that's done. This is a computer show. So that could just go on and on and on. So nope.
Technically,
Bring it.
Phones are computers,
All right, I'm bringing the hammer down on that.
Waiting room.
Done with that. All right. Windows Daily. And yeah, Ran, I did hit that ad break because I thought it had been a while since I did that, and it was in the midst of a conversation. And my intention to not do that. Okay, so there was a couple of things up here. Ran Israel, USB labeling, laptop on the desk. I kind of would like to run those out really quick because I just have so many topics. So the laptop on the desk is not really here for a purpose. This is that AceMagic X15 laptop that I did an unboxing of, and I've been using for a while, and it's the N95 or N100 processor, I don't remember. But low end, I have been loving this. I have been using it for lots of stuff. I used it at that office where I was setting up the remote connection to that server that was up in that wall-mounted case. Now, I had problems with it there. It turns out it's because I was connecting to the admin Wi-Fi, which was in another part of the building. I was connecting the wrong Wi-Fi, but it runs my remote software really quickly. It runs everything that I do very quickly. And I used it on Ken Stout's Zoom session at the end of his show a couple days ago. I thought I was on Friday. Yeah. That's not a couple days ago. That's yesterday. Yeah.
Thursday night.
Oh, it was Thursday night?
Yes, Doug, you didn't do a
Oh,
show
yes,
on
it was
Friday
because
you were out playing hooky.
Yeah, it was because my the reason why I got that confused is because when I came in, I said, so I had just finished with something. Well, something I just finished with was my grandson here on Thursday. So Thursday. And I didn't even realize that I actually got in before he ended the show, just right at the tail end, because he had gone long. But anyway, so I used it in that Zoom session. The camera did not adjust automatically. I had to use manual adjustments for exposure and such. It seemed to have no automatic adjustment capabilities. Greg M says iPhone. Oh, that was, I guess, when we're talking about the iPhone version that they're up to. So really, now it's not available for the price that I paid for it. This is the one where I told you that I had ordered it and then it didn't arrive. Then I ordered 3 more off of Amazon. So I've ordered 4 of them for quite a while. None of them had arrived. Then it came in that eBay packaging. Some of you might remember that. It was a mystery unboxing, mystery unpackaging, I think I called it. And it turned out to be this laptop. I honestly did not know that was in there. I suspected. But I still don't know if it was the one that I ordered from AceMagic directly or was it from one of the Amazon orders, because none of them currently show as delivered. And one of them was paid with my client's credit card. 3 of them were paid on my own credit card, but none of them, as far as I know, have shown up as charges yet. Actually, I haven't looked at that yet. I only looked to see the deliveries. But I want to get one of these for myself at that price. It's available right now for about $50 more. I like that $254 price, whatever it was. So that's the only reason that it was there. So I didn't even do my new topic button for that. Just totally messing this up. So but what I will do here is move that to the right place. Oh, but it didn't even have anything on here. Did I have a review for it? USB labeling. Oh, this is it. Yeah, this is it. AceMagic X15 N95 update. I didn't think I'd put it on there as a topic, but I did. So this needs to get moved up to here.
Seems confused.
Yeah. Too much I'm trying to juggle in my brain. The laptop audio problem I'll talk about a different day. The colors.
A question, if I may.
Go ahead.
When you juggle in your brain, are you going pew, pew?
I refuse to answer on the grounds that my answer may tend to incriminate me.
Waiting room.
Hey, you can toss me in the waiting room. That's fine.
I'll give him.
Is there Is there music?
I'll give him a pass on that.
No.
Hey, I don't know what you meant. You made a comment about the design of the waiting room, and at one point I did do something different about, I don't know, wallpaper in there or something. Is it non-standard? When you can
change it.
That's not my question.
You can put music. Okay, go ahead.
My question is, when you went into the waiting room last week, did you find that it was non-standard, non-default?
I believe it said something about my beautiful picture and welcome to Ken Stout Live or something like that.
I was thinking that I had put you in there somehow. Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense.
Hold on. Let me rethink what I just said. Yes.
All right. Okay, so new subject button. Do an ad break there.
Okay. if I might suggest something that I don't know if we got to this or not, because I didn't pay all that much attention in the beginning. There was something about downgrading the mini PC.
Yes, I'm not going to do that now because we're too short on time.
Okay.
But that'll stay on the list. That'll be handled in an upcoming episode. But I think it was Ran Israel that included the USB labeling color flaw. That's a pretty quick and easy thing to do. Let's see, it probably would be best if I had set up a camera for this. So I didn't. So we're going to try this one. Unboxing camera. Oi, I will fix it. I will fix it. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. We're going to use automatic settings. There. Take that out of here. Then.
Yes, hide the script. We don't want to see the script because this is live and unrestricted.
Okay, so here's one of these USB hubs. And let's see, which way do I need to do this? Yeah, you're seeing it right way there. Get it to focus on my hand. I need to move a couple things. Give me a moment. Oh, window projector view so I can see this large enough to tell what it's doing. I don't like doing it this way because I'm trying to hold it. There you go. So you see USB 2.0, two of them, and a USB 3.0. I usually count on the color of the tongue to first identify USB 3 versus USB 2. That is not the case here. If I rotate this a little bit and you look at the tongue on the one that's on the right, you can see the 5 conductors that provide the extra connections that a USB 3 requires. The 2 on the left do not have those extra 5 connectors. So I hadn't really considered using that as a way of identifying 3 versus 2, USB 3 versus USB 2. So those, but that's just a new thing that's now in my inventory of identifying USB ports. But these were, I thought at first that they were labeled incorrectly, but they were labeled correct. They just had the wrong colors. And well, I've already shown you that focus, so I'm not going to go there again. Some of the tongues, and I haven't looked into this at all, some of the tongues on USB 3.0, sometimes are colored not blue, but I've seen them, I think, yellow or orange, or I want to say maybe I've seen them green. And so I guess, yeah. So I guess my question is, does anybody know of, I don't think those are strictly identified in the USB specifications. That's a Gary question for sure. So does anybody have feedback on that? Did anybody?
The 2 USB ports on the front of my computer that I'm using right now are both USB 3.0, but they're black. The same is true of my old HP laptop. It's got 4 USB 3.0 ports, but they're all black, not blue.
Yeah. I don't think that has been consistent at all. Now, when you look for those 5 conductors on the tongue, that's on the port, not on the USB device. On the USB device itself, those 5 conductors are in the back. And if you look with a light, you can see those 5 connectors in the back of the USB cable that you're going to plug into the port. Okay, so that's all that topic was. Now, that's a good point to hit an ad break. I don't think I did my new topic button at the right place. Now, those new topic things, they show up in chat That's kind of a secondary purpose. I might turn that off. But what happens is I have an add-in in OBS that actually records that timestamp in a file. So when I go back later and put my timestamps in, it's pretty quick and easy to do if I did the buttons right. Okay, it is time to give it up. Hang it up. Put this to bed. You know what? I know I asked Gary if he had any topics
one
for
more
the end of
thing.
the show. I don't think you really mean that, Ken.
Actually, I do, but we can discuss it at another time. I was poking fun at Gary, yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. I will keep Zoom open after the show for a little bit.
What did I miss?
Gary, I'm about to end the show, so I'm giving you your last call. Did you?
No, I actually thought you were going to talk about Windows 11. That's the reason I got out of that.
Oh, you mean the 24H2?
Yeah.
I was surprised to find in Carrie's video yesterday. He's very enthusiastic about it.
We have about 500 people on it right now.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, we got it to 23rd. They sent us an email and we got it.
All right. Yeah. I guess since we've said that much,
Read chat, please.
My response
And
to it is yes.
It was the release version, just so you. Yeah, it wasn't pre-release or anything.
Okay. Yeah. So 24H2. Your experience is my. No. Let's do that. Let's do that during the week because I want to hear what your experiences are. But I'm not a seeker. I've told you that. It'll come when it comes. I'm not going to spend my time to go get it now. Not in any hurry. Okay, Zavi Manor, I see your link for USB color codes. Okay. Cool. I will hang on to that. And Ran Israel said, read chat. Originally, it was blue for USB 3 and teal for USB 3.1. Red, yellow was intended to indicate always power. These days, every motherboard maker chooses its own color scheme as it desires. That seems like what I'm seeing. There's no rhyme or reason or consistency for that.
Yeah,
as far
God
as I
forbid we
know.
have industry standards.
Yeah. Okay, Zoom, I'll ask you to say goodbye to the audience, but I'm going to keep Zoom open.
Night, John Boy.
Bye. Bye to the audience.
Good year, everyone.
All right, and there's my email address. If you want to send a question, you can give quite a bit of background information about your question, or you can put a comment on any of my videos. And I think we will call it a wrap, and have a good day, everybody. Good weekend. Get to the right button. I should have those lined up. All right, bye.
Everything